Ham United 0, Oxford United 4. It's been another terrible game in the League Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever we want to call it.
Caraboose.
Sorry, there's no video, just only sound. We're in the back of a car, and it's too dark to film it. So we've come away yet again from another game, another cup game where we've been knocked out in the first round, and yet again by a lower league team. It was even Stevens in the first half, not much in it. Neither team had many chances, but in the second half Oxford got their first goal and their tails were up. Right, lads, Pete, Slaps, what do you make of the game?
Woeful. Yeah, shocking.
Absolutely dreadful in the second half.
Yeah, the first
players
half
just are not good enough that have been brought in. A Jetty, too slow, thinks he's got too much time on the ball, just doesn't work. Sanchez, usual scenario. Sorry, straight on. And yeah, very disappointing again.
Slaps?
Well, my view is that if you're a team and you're going to play a team from a lower division, then you can't go into it with a wrong attitude and with the wrong team and with players that you're going to effectively carry as passengers. And the team tonight I felt was wrong, but having said that, it should have been good enough to beat a team like Oxford. But you can't go into it with carrying 4 passengers, and as far as I'm concerned, Sanchez, Snodgrass and a Jetty offered nothing. Masuaku was too lazy, and it showed in the first half when when the player ran past him and he just stood still, and then in the second half when he slipped over and embarrassingly gave away a goal. If you go into a game when you've only really got 7 players, you ain't going to win against a team like that. And as soon as they scored, their tails were up, our heads went down, it was game over, and it was embarrassing, quite frankly. The changes he should have made at half time was to take off Sanchez and put Noble on, take off a Jetty and put Haller on, and take off Holland and put Anderson on. He didn't do any of those changes until it was too late. A Jetty is never going to be a Premier League footballer. Holland is not going to make the grade and should be released, to be quite honest with you. Snoddy, I was very disappointed in. His touch and control was that of a rapist. And yeah, we were just very poor. Very, very poor. Embarrassing.
Do either of you wonder why we ended up buying a player like a Yeti when, you know, he wasn't a big name player, he didn't come with a massive reputation. Yeah, he played in the Champions League, but, you know, as you pointed out during the game, Slaps, he only played in for a Swiss team in the sort of the early stages of the Champions League, so it doesn't really count in a way. Was it a surprise that we actually spent money on a player like that? Should we have spent a little bit more and got something a bit classier?
To be fair, I don't think we had any more money, and I think we spent what little we had left, or what little they wanted to spend left, on that player. We would have done better to take a punt with perhaps a lower league player and try to get, you know, somebody who knows the English leagues and can probably have a bit of a go. A Yeti was a gamble, and it's a gamble that hasn't paid off. And you know, I think for myself, I feel sorry for the lad. He looked lost up front. He offered nothing short. Only wanted the ball played in behind. Was never going to win a header, and he's just not going to make the grade for me. I'm sorry, but you know, sometimes you have to say it as it is, and he's never a Premier League footballer.
Yeah, a lot of people would say that we should always try and give our squad players and youth players an opportunity. You know what happened with Antonio when he got injured in the last game. You know, people were saying we shouldn't be playing our best 11. You know, in these cup games, and yet when we don't play our best 11, we suffer. You know, so it's a bit of a, you know, we're between a. It's a hard choice to make sometimes. You know, as you said, there was enough quality out there to beat Oxford, and yet certain players just didn't show up yet again. And it's shades of Wimbledon last season.
Yeah, I think that Pellegrini, though, he sees these players day in and day out, and if he thinks they're good enough, then fair enough, play them. But I think when it comes to the cup, it's your best chance of winning something. We're not going to win the league, let's face it. And we're not in Europe, so you're going to hope to have a good run in the League Cup or the FA Cup. And I don't see why we don't put out a stronger team than that. We made 9 changes, and that's a lot of changes to make to a team. And a team that was playing reasonably well, had 3 clean sheets on the bounce, and we've just wrecked that by conceding 4 to a lower league team. And now the confidence is far lower for Saturday against Bournemouth away than it should be.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, we've done so well so far this season, and the 3 clean sheets have been a massive bonus considering we conceded so many goals last season. Now, there's a lot of players that aren't going to play against Bournemouth on Saturday, but as you said, you know, the likelihood is that we're going to be affected, aren't we, psychologically? And that's such a shame, really, because we've been doing so well in the league.
Well, no doubt Pellegrini's going to turn around and say it's a totally different team to that which I field in the Premier League, and you know, it's just one of those things that can happen. But that wasn't just a loss, that was an embarrassing loss, and 4-0 to a lower league team is taking the piss, really, to be quite frank.
Yeah,
we shouldn't lose by like that to any team like that. And yeah, if someone said to me tonight you're going to lose 4-0, I'd have thought to myself, you've got the score the wrong way round. We'd win 4-0.
Yeah,
yeah. I wouldn't expect that in that game there at all. And you know, maybe it'll act as a bit of a reality check for some of our team, some of our fans who over the last few weeks have said, yeah, we're going to become 4th, we can break the top 6, steady things like that. For me, we're still going to finish mid-table. We still haven't got the squad big enough to deal with games like this by not playing our first team, and it's a bit of a reality check, and maybe it'll serve us well. Maybe it'll galvanise us and push us on to do better in the next game. I don't know, only time will tell, but we certainly don't expect to lose to a lower team like that. And seriously, Pellegrini needs to have a word with some of them players and read them the right act and say to them, look, you seriously didn't show up tonight and play properly. And some of those players did give it a try. Some of those players were on top of their game and had a bit of a go. I thought Jack Wilshere taking off was a real game changer, and I don't think I would have taken him off. How Sanchez survived, the change, I don't know. Yeah. You know, some of his Pellegrini, I think, makes some surprising changes, and some changes where when he does make them, you look at each other and say, what did he do that for?
Yeah, it was interesting because Wilshere was by far our best player of the game, and you would have thought that him alongside Noble would have galvanised that central midfield where we kind of we weren't doing much. You know, Sanchez in the first half was trying to play these long balls and they weren't working out. He started doing it again in the second half, they weren't working out. Everyone scratches their head as to why Sanchez is even in the West Ham squad, let alone starting in a game. And with the likes of Wilshere and Noble, I think we could have. You were saying it during the game, and whilst it was still 0-0, you know, you said bring Noble on now, he'll be a game changer, and he was brought on at 2-0. It was too late in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, they should have brought on Noble. Like I said to you at half time, bring on Noble now, take Sanchez off, hook off Holland, put Anderson on, and take off Yeti and put Haller on, and that would have changed the game at half time. But we didn't. We sat back and did this little trendy, give it 10 minutes and see what happens. Well, what happened is we went 1-0 down, and it got worse from there on in. And bringing players on when you've got other players with their heads dropped because of what's happened ain't no good. You ain't going to turn it around like that.
Yeah,
if you're going to change a game, you've got to change it while it's 0-0, not to try and bring it back from 1-0 or 2-0 down.
Well, that's it, I'm afraid. We're out of another cup. Really poor game. It's an awful long way to go, Oxford. Their stadium is in the middle of nowhere, and
It's a longer way home.
we kind of suffered for it. So sorry there's no picture, but hopefully the sound's okay. And well, I would say come on your irons, but it'd be a bit of a joke really.